Into the Christmas tree now.
Yeah.
With
So-
lights.
So, Abhigya Swarat. So one thing important lesson to learn here, the Lord is omniscient, and we also know that the Lord is omnipotent, all powerful. Someone is omniscient who knows everything about the creation and all of us in the creation, and someone is omnipotent who is capable of doing everything for us. So in the times of difficulty and struggles and difficult time that we go through, what lesson we get is someone who knows about each and everything about us, what is going in our psychic movements within our mind, and is capable of recorrecting every situation, correcting any situation. So what should we think? Sometimes in the times of difficulty, we think Krishna is reticent, he is not responding. He has a higher plan for us. He is capable of doing everything for us. He knows everything about us, but yet sometimes it appears that Krishna is not responding. What it means? He has a higher plan for you. There are three kinds of mentalities in terms of our difficult situations. The immediate response of the materialistic people is, who is in the lower consciousness, in the times of difficult period, he blames other situations, surrounding, people. Sometimes he blames God also. I worship the God, but in return I didn't get anything. Someone who is in higher consciousness, he doesn't blame situation, people, surrounding, and God. He thinks whatever happens in my life is result of my karmas. So he doesn't make others responsible, he makes himself responsible. So it's my karma, I have to go through it. So it's a bad time, it was destined in my destiny, I have to go through it. The highest consciousness of a devotee, Prabhupada explains in the purport of first canto, when the Dharma and Parikshit Maharaj are interacting, the highest consciousness of a devotee. The devotee's conclusion is that in regard to whatever happens, good or bad happens in his life, is everything is God sent. Everything, every situation is a blessings of the Lord. And the shloka says, Alakshyam sarvabhutanam. Krishna, Prabhupada explains in the purport, Krishna reserves the right of not being exposed to someone who is not qualified. Antarbhair avasthitam. Krishna is present inside and Krishna is present outside also. And Prabhupada explains, Krishna is present outside in the form of a spiritual master to guide us externally. And inside, he is a Chaitya Guru, sitting inside us to guide us. On the same lecture I was hearing yesterday, Prabhupada mentions, anybody, Krishna educated Brahma, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavya, Muyanti Yasurya. So Krishna can educate Brahma and Krishna can educate anyone in this world, provided one is qualified to take instruction from Krishna. So one has to become bona fide student to take instruction from Krishna. And how to become a bona fide student to take instruction from Krishna is by the process of Krishna consciousness, associating with the devotees, following the principles of Krishna consciousness. So when one is building that purity in the heart, he can receive the instruction of Krishna in that respect. So I will like to just end here and give the chance to Prabhuji to speak on that verse and educate in the process of Krishna consciousness through that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Rasala Prabhu, for such a compact but very meaningful description of Kunti Devi's purports. It's interesting that in the Bhagavatam, which is called the Paramahamsa Samhita, the Bhagavatam is the ripened fruit of Vedic knowledge compared to the mango fruit on the branch of the mango tree of the Vedas. Nigama kalpar tarur galitam phalam sukamukad amrita drava samyutam vibhata bhagavatam rasam alayam muhoraho rasika bhuvi bhavukaha. In the very first three verses, the Srimad Bhagavatam is glorified as the essence of all Vedic literatures. Vedic literatures are sometimes compared to a tree. And just like the tree, the essence of the tree is manifested or produced in its fruit. If you have a first time encounter with the mango tree, which doesn't have fruits yet, it's very difficult to understand what the highest purpose of the tree is. You cannot see by the bark of the tree, by the leaves of the tree, by the flowers of the tree, the roots, and everything else. All the constituent parts of the tree do not communicate to you what the highest purpose of the tree is until and unless the tree bears fruit. And that fruit combines or imbibes or concentrates the very best that this tree has to offer. In the same way, the Bhagavatam is a ripened fruit of the Vedic literature, in the sense that just by studying the Bhagavatam, a person can understand the highest truth that is available for human beings. And that's why Srila Vyasadeva himself, after he compiled the Vedas, after he compiled the Puranas and other scriptures, in the first and second verse of the Bhagavatam says, Kim Vaparaya, Kim Vaparaya Ishwaraya Sadhya Hridya Varudya Tedra Kritibhikshu Shusubhik Tat. He says, you know this expression, a rhetorical question? Rhetorical question means a question which doesn't need to be answered. Rhetorical question means, like I say, isn't it hot today? And you don't have to answer, because it is hot. I can say, aren't you all hungry? If I ask a student, it's a rhetorical question. Students are always hungry, right? I was a student, I was always hungry. I remember, there are two states, hungry or sleepy. So it's a rhetorical question. If you ask a student, are you sleepy or are you hungry? It's a rhetorical question. It doesn't need to be answered. So Srila Vyasadeva, when he compiled Srimad Bhagavatam, in the very beginning, he has compiled just the first verse of it. And the second verse he says, Kim Vaparaya, what's the point of reading other scriptures? If anyone else tells you that some other scriptures in the Vedas, Upanishads, Itihasas, or Brahmanas, Aranyakas, or the Samhitas, if they need to be studied and followed, ask me. I'm the author. And as an author, I tell you, there is no point reading any other scriptures, because it's just like there is no point trying to understand what the mango tree has to offer by studying its bark, or its leaves, or its flowers, if there are many ripened mangoes hanging on its branches. I came from Australia, and in Australia, just a couple of months ago, there was a mango season. In that place where I lived, in New Govardhan, there is a wonderful farm community near Brisbane. And there are dozens of mango trees. And the mangoes on those trees, shall I show you how big those mangoes are?
Yes.
Will it make you happy or sad? Both. That big. And you don't even have to pick them, because somehow they fall from the tree, and when you walk back from Mangalarati, you pick up mangoes for your breakfast. And I understood why Mangalarati is called Mangalarati. Manga means mangoes were everywhere. So Srila Vyasadeva says there is no point studying other scriptures, because once you get access to Srimad Bhagavatam, then your pursuit of knowledge and pursuit of perfection in life has already accomplished. Sadhya Hridya Varudya Tektra Kritibhikshu Shusubhi Stakshanat. He says, as soon as you try to hear Srimad Bhagavatam with a undivided attention, trying to understand what is being described, and those of us who don't understand Sanskrit, Srila Prabhupada has mercifully translated the Bhagavatam into English. And the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada, again, just like Vyasadeva, having just written first verse, the first verse is Adata Brahma Janmadhyasyaton Vayada Taratash Charhesha Vigya Svarat. He, in the first verse, he actually combined or compressed the entire Vedic knowledge into one first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Acharyas write dozens of pages of commentaries on the very first verse, showing how Srila Vyasadeva, you're all engineers or software developers, right? How many of you are software developers, IT specialists? Oh, you're becoming extinct species now.
AI
is being replaced. Engineers,
everyone is engineer.
Yeah, so many cooks. Cooks will always be in business, They won't be put out of business by AI, because everyone wants to eat. So cooks will always be on demand. So
Even during work.
right, even during work.
We also meant.
Alright, software engineers, anyone actually knows how if you have a big file, a text file, but then you zip it, it becomes compressed to a fraction of its size, maybe 1% or 10% of the original size of the file. But all the information is preserved. Of course, Krishna, even before the invention of archiving or zip files, he created the original zipping facility by what? What's the zipping facility in nature? Huh? Anyone?
Seed.
No biologists. Yeah, seeds. Like a small seed of banyan tree has the entire banyan in it. Not just one banyan, but hundreds and hundreds of generations of banyan trees inside one small seed. So in the same way, Srila Vyasadeva compressed, zipped the entire Vedic knowledge into the first shloka of Srimad Bhagavatam. Janmadhyasya Tonvayadam Taratashcha Hirsha Pigya Svarat. I was recently reading commentaries of Acharyas on this verse, and I became completely bewildered, because just Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur himself, by himself, he came up with 6 or 7 different meanings of the verse, showing how there are many layers of meaning in just one verse of the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Then Jiva Goswami adds his own dimension, Sridhar Swami adds his own dimension, and then Srila Prabhupada writes one of the longest purports of Srimad Bhagavatam on the first verse. In the same way, Srila Prabhupada had just started writing Srimad Bhagavatam. He had written just 3 chapters of his commentaries, and then at the end of the 3rd chapter of the 1st canto, he says in his commentary, he says, if anyone reads this Srimad Bhagavatam, he can meet Krishna face to face in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, and his or her life will become perfect. So like that. So Srimad Bhagavatam begins with the description of the absolute truth, highest absolute truth, that cannot be obtained by any other means. Rasala Prabhu has just explained that Krishna has 2 qualities. Who can remember or repeat to me the 2 qualities that Rasala Prabhu has just explained? Huh? Please.
Abhigya and Swarat.
Abhigya Swarat meaning?
Abhigya means all knower, omniscient and omnipotent.
Omnipotent. That's very good. Srila Prabhupada sometimes used these features of Krishna, his qualities of Krishna, in his arguments with the Mayavadis. Once he had a discussion, a dispute with Mayavadis, and he told Mayavadis, do you know, he said, I am God. Then Mayavadis said, we're all God. And Srila Prabhupada said, do you know the definition of God? A dictionary definition. Pick up the dictionary. There was a dictionary on the shelf. Take the dictionary, English language dictionary, and find the chapter entry, God, and read out the definition of God to me. So the Mayavadi, he went over to the dictionary, picked it up, opened, and he read, God, the original, omniscient, all-knowing person. And Prabhupada said, see, all-knowing, and you need to have a dictionary to define yourself. To have a definition for yourself, what kind of a God you are. It shows. So, Abhigya Swarat, and Swarat means independent. And his quality, Krishna's quality of omniscience doesn't stop there. Srila Jiva Goswami explains in his Bhagavad Sandarbha, he says that Krishna has 2 qualities that are translated as omniscient. Our language is short of terms, but in Sanskrit there are 2 terms, Sarvagya and Sarvavit. Sarvagya means he knows everything, and Sarvavit, it's a kind of redundant already. If he knows everything, what's there left to describe? But he says he knows everything about everything. It's just like omniscient square, right, to the power, like that. So he knows everything about everything. He knows every living entity, and then he knows everything about that living entity, his past, present, future, his desires, his accumulated karma, his freedom of will. He gives him the existence, he maintains that existence, and then Krishna, in his omniscience, does something very interesting, very unique. What would you do if you are omniscient? You would cheat on exams, right? Well, you don't have to cheat because you know everything. There's no cheating. There's no cheating involved, you know. You'll just pass all the exams with flying marks. But Krishna, what he does with his omniscience, it's very interesting. You know, and sometimes we hear this question: if Krishna is omniscient, does he know when I get liberated, or if I get liberated or not? Does he know if I go back to the spiritual world or not? and you think that you trapped or captured Krishna, because if he knows whether you become liberated or not, then the conclusion is there is no point trying. You just sit idly and wait for how long? As long as it takes to get liberated. If everything already predefined, predestined. But if he doesn't know, then what? What kind of God is he? But Krishna does something very interesting with his omniscience, his all-knowing feature. He tells his omniscience, okay, here is where you are allowed to act. But here, you're not allowed to act. I limit your omniscience to create freedom of choice for my devotees. My devotees have to be free. Why? Why does Krishna need to give freedom to his devotees? Why does he have to limit his omniscience? Why? Why? Would you do that in his place? No, you wouldn't do. You have to be omniscient, omnipresent, all-powerful. But he limits his omniscience. Why? Why? I can tell you a story to understand why. And I'll ask you a question after that story. It's a short story. It's like an anecdote. There was a very popular movie, a blockbuster, criminal blockbuster. Of course, you don't go to movies, I know. Right? Once Prabhupada was given a program across Maidan in Mumbai, and he was glorifying his Western devotees, Western disciples. He told the people who assembled there, thousands and thousands of people, he showed them, pointed at his Western disciples, young men and young women who came from America mostly, the Chintamani Dham, Chinta for money. The place where everyone wanted to go. And he showed these Western disciples and he said, see, these devotees prove that Krishna is God, because by chanting Krishna's names they became sadhus. They don't eat meat, they don't take any intoxications, they don't engage in any illicit activities, they don't gamble, they chant Hare Krishna, they worship the Lord, they wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, they follow all the principles of Sanatana Dharma, like that. So this is a proof, and the audience was very impressed. But one member of the audience, he raised his hand and he said, Swamiji, I can accept that they follow these principles. I can accept that they're vegetarians, they don't engage in illicit activities, they don't take any intoxications, even tea and coffee. I can accept that. But they must be going to movies. They must be going to movies. There is no way they don't go to movies. Prabhupada heard that statement and he said with indignation, going to movies? There's no question of them going to movies. They hate movies. They hate movies. And the devotees on the stage, they just nodded, yes, we hate movies. Oh, anyhow, so you also hate movies, right? And so there was a criminal, so that's why this example is safe here in the audience. There was a criminal blockbuster. And now the criminal blockbusters, for those of you who don't hate movies enough, they're built in such a way that there is a suspense. You never know to the very end of the movie who the criminal, the murderer is. Right? Everyone is in suspense. And they also give you false clues. And you think, oh, that must be the criminal, and that must be the murderer. So that was the kind of very, very suspenseful, very carefully, very cleverly written plot. And the movie, it was very popular. It was every day packed hall. So one man came to that cinema hall. What is the famous cinema hall in Delhi? PVS, whatever. It was one cinema hall where Srila Gopal Krishna Maharaj held his Vyasa Puja. Was it? No, it was some other auditorium, I remember.
Siri auditorium?
Maybe Siri auditorium.
Siri.
Anyhow, so he came late to the viewing of the movie, and the doors were shut. So he already purchased his ticket. The tickets were non-refundable, so he wanted to get inside. The doors were shut, but the ticket, what they call them, usher, the person who is sitting at the door, usher, right? He took compassion. What they do sometimes with these latecomers, they take them by the hand and they have a torchlight. So they show them to their seat in the dark of the movie, and they expect to be paid something for it. compassion costs. So he took that man to this. Okay, let's go. It's only 5 or 10 minutes into the movie, so I'll take him. And he showed him to his seat, and the man sat on his seat, and the usher expected to be paid for his favor. But the man didn't want to pay. Why pay? He's already there. So he just he motioned the usher, and the usher leaned over and he told him, "Thank you very much." And the usher motioned him, and the man leaned to the mouth of the usher, and the usher whispered into his ear, "The pharmacist is the murderer." And he walked away. Oh. The pharmacist is the murderer, and he walked away. So the whole thing is spoiled. Is there any point sitting there? No. So that's what. Now I ask you a question. How does that answer my question to you? Why does Krishna limit his knowledge? What is the exciting thing about the movie? Is not knowing. Is the suspense. Is you don't know and you enjoy not knowing. You enjoy not knowing. You enjoy being surprised. In the same way, in reality, if everything is predetermined and Krishna knows everything, is there any joy? No, there's no joy. So Lila or Rasa, which is Krishna famous for, number one, it's created by completely free members. Both sides. Krishna is completely free, completely liberated. There is no law above him. And his participants, his pure devotees, are also completely free. So what's the definition of freedom? What's the result of that freedom? Is that devotees can surprise Krishna. And they surprise Krishna, take him by surprise. Sometimes it is described in Nectar of Devotion. Krishna and his cowherd boys in Vrindavan, they play. I don't know if you played in your childhood like that, but I did play like that. So my friends would tell me, open your mouth, close your eyes and open your mouth. I'll put something very tasty in your mouth. And I would open my mouth and I close my eyes and they would put some flour into my mouth. Especially there are some kind of flowers, the flowers that when they ripen they become fluffy, full of those fluffy white seeds, very unpalatable, and they stick to the mouth and you spit for so many minutes before you can clear your mouth out of that sticky stuff. Like that, so Krishna, he comes to his friends and his friends tell him, okay Krishna, we have something very special for you. Open your mouth and close your eyes. And Krishna goes, I know guys, I'm God. I know what you're going to do. And also I know what I'm going to do with you for trying to do what you want to do with me. I'll send you to hell forever and ever for playing jokes with God. Does he say that? No. He enjoys being in quote-unquote ignorance, which is not a manifestation of his limitations, it's a manifestation of his love. So, omniscience, omnipresence, omnipotency, whatever else you can name, all of his qualities, they give way to another, the seventh quality of God. There are 6 qualities of God. I'm sure all of you know the 6 qualities of God. Which are the qualities? First of all? Huh? Knowledge, unlimited knowledge. Huh? Beauty too. Fame, strength, power. What else? Renunciation and wealth. Yeah, you got 4, all 4 of them. Was another story. Which one, by the way, which one of these 6 is your favorite? Which one, if you are offered one of these 6, which one would you have taken? There was the dean of Delhi University. So there was a council of the university and the dean was presiding over the council. And all of a sudden, true story, all of a sudden there was a flash of light, and during that meeting with all the heads of departments and faculties, there was a Vishnuduta. He came, appeared to him and everyone, and he said, my dear sir, dean of the university, the Lord Krishna is Lord Narayana is very happy with your piety and your dedication to knowledge and science, and he sent me to give you one of the 3 boons of your choice. You can pick one of these 3. Either you can get unlimited wealth, or unlimited knowledge, wisdom, or unlimited beauty. You can take one of the three. So, being the dean of the university, what did he pick? Wisdom. Unlimited wisdom. Okay, tatastu, be it so. He snapped his fingers, disappeared, and the dean of the university and everyone else gaped at his fortune, and everyone was. They saw that there was a kind of radiance or halo like Brahmajyoti around his head, emanating unlimited wisdom. And he sat there with closed eyes, and he didn't say a word. And everyone was also silent, and they were waiting for him to say something. And then they pulled out notepads and pencils, waiting for him to say something in his unlimited wisdom, so he could scribble it down and immediately file for a Nobel Prize. And he sat silent for a minute, and 2 minutes, and 3 minutes, and 5 minutes. Eventually, the impatience got the better of them, and somebody whispered, "Please, say something." And the dean opened his unlimitedly wise eyes, and he looked around the audience, and he said, "I should have taken the money." That was his unlimited wisdom. I should have taken the money. So these qualities are conflicting in us, but in Krishna they're not conflicting. How? Because there is a seventh quality, something that you have not mentioned. Anything you have forgotten? Parashara Muni, did he mention the seventh quality? Aishvaryasya samagrasya virasya yashashiya jnana varadhyasya. Is the seventh quality there? What's the seventh quality? The most important quality that puts all his qualities in the perspective and puts them to very important use. What is that? Huh? You mentioned Vairagya already. Huh?
Love, we sing love.
Love. For whom?
For the spiritual beings.
So for all of us, because all of us are spiritual beings. Well, yes and no. Well, you're very close. Love for his devotees. And it's explained in Srimad Bhagavatam in the 3rd canto. Satvena samridayate Bhagavan Bhagena. Bhagavan Bhagena, he has these 6 bhagas, and he uses them for Satvena samridayate, to expand the happiness, the glories, the knowledge, the wisdom, the power, the influence, the renunciation, the wealth of his devotees. In other words, he doesn't need these qualities by themselves. By themselves, he needs them as tools. How many of you, maybe engineers, have that? I have one. Actually, I have 2 multi-tools. You know this multi-tools? Leatherman multi-tools. You know them? They have a small, like a knife, Swiss knife, and they have many tools. They have a blade, they have a screwdriver, cork opener, they have a file, have a tweezers, they have sometimes pliers, they have everything in all one piece, right? And you can use any tool. The one I have even has a saw, right? And you can use anything. It really saved my life. I mean, not literally life, but helped me a lot in my travels. Sometimes something breaks and you have that multi-tool and you can always fix it. So the same is Krishna's qualities. These 6 qualities are like a multi-tool for him. But the multi-tool is useless unless it's put to its final ultimate use. What's the use? Devotees. And Krishna wants to use all of his qualities for serving his devotees. That's why sometimes a devotee is, as Prabhupada explains, Krishna comes to him in a dream, to a devotee, and says, "My dear devotee, I am buried in the ground and in the earth. Please dig me out," as if he cannot climb out himself out of the earth. Sometimes Krishna comes to his devotee and tells him, "My dear devotee, I am hungry. Please cook for me." It was actually a true story. So far I've been telling you jokes, but this is a true story, and please believe me, it is a true story. There was a Abhishek of Krishna in one of our temples in Estonia. Who knows where Estonia is? No geographers here. Estonia is? Yeah, those Baltic countries. Yeah. Very small country. There's a big temple there in Tallinn, and devotees would do an Abhishek, gorgeous Abhishek. And then after the Abhishek, they were offering, I think it was Janmashtami or something. They were offering an offering of sweets and sabjis and rice and everything, all these preparations to Krishna. And the deities in that temple are Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra. And so that is going on in Estonia. And then in Delhi, at the same time, one Mataji, a devotee, Vaishnavi, she has a dream. In her dream, Jagannath comes to her and tells her, "Wake up! Those devotees of mine, they forgot to offer me mangoes." And she wakes up and she doesn't understand where that place is, because there's nothing in her dream that would indicate the place. The only thing that she could remember were the 3 digits plus 374 or something like that, like the country code. And she woke up. Jagannath was really disturbed. No, someone came and brought mangoes for me for my celebration. The pujari put it in the fridge and forgot to offer it to me. And she immediately didn't know what to do with that, but she understood the urgency, and she started looking up on the internet what these figures mean. And she found it was the country code of Estonia. I actually know the family, and that lady and her husband told me the story themselves. They're in Delhi. And she started looking up on the internet where's the ISKCON temple, because she figured Jagannath in Estonia would probably be in the ISKCON temple. Like you have Jagannath Baladev Subhadra here on your altar. So she started calling up during the Abhishek, during the festival, and eventually she managed to get through. It's very hard to call ISKCON temples. Nobody picks up the phone usually.
All numbers are there. All numbers are there.
Old numbers. Nobody picks up the phone.
They don't exist on.
Your number majut nahi hai. So she finally got someone to answer the phone, and he picked up the phone, and he didn't speak English, she didn't speak the Estonian language, and somehow or other they overcame that. And eventually she communicated the message across. And the person who happened to be on the other side, the temple president, he ran to the pujari and said, "Is it true? Where's the mango?" And the pujari turned pale. He said, "Oh, I did forget. 2 days ago, one family came and brought the mangoes, and I put it in the fridge, expecting them to be offered. I completely forgot about them. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna." He ran to the kitchen and he picked up that mango from the fridge and offered it to Jagannath. So that's what Jagannath does sometimes. So he says, Prabhupada says, sometimes the Lord, as if hungry, tells his devotee, "Please feed me, I'm hungry." Find that pujari who in Estonia who stashed away my mango. Or sometimes Prabhupada continues, he says, sometimes Lord Chaitanya tells his devotee, "Please preach my name all over the world," as if he himself couldn't do that. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, during his presence in this world, would preach the holy name just by his presence, just by his appearance. You didn't even have to hear him, he could just look at him. What's the word? Drishta, sprishta, kirtita, sanskritova, durastharya, pyanatova, dritova, primnach saram datum, ishaya ikach, Chaitanya naomi devam dayalum. Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur, who was a contemporary of Lord Chaitanya, describes what he saw himself with his own eyes. He saw that Lord Chaitanya, just by appearing in people's eyes, in their eyesight, just by being present at a distance, just by being heard about, just by being remembered, just by being glorified, just by being contacted through the devotees who got in touch with him directly, or even through devotees who got in touch with the devotees who got in touch with the devotees who got in touch with him directly. No matter how you would get in touch with him, he would give the same, Krishna Prema, and chanting of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So what was the need for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to engage someone else in his preaching activities if he could have done it himself? And Prabhupada writes, somehow Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could have distributed his holy name, spread his holy name by himself, but he asked his devotee, singular case, he didn't say devotees, he didn't write devotee, he said, he asked his devotee to preach his holy name. Who was that devotee, by the way? Any guesses who was the devotee who was requested by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to preach the holy name all over the world? Huh? All over the world? All over the world? Who is a devotee? Prabhupada, are you sure? How can you sure? How can you be sure? How are you sure? What gives you such confidence, huh? That it was Prabhupada?
Prediction that one Senapati Bhakt will come and do this magic.
Okay, that was predicted 500 years ago, Senapati Bhakta. You know what it says there in that shloka from Chaitanya Mangala, that Senapati Bhakta, he said, Lord Chaitanya, I forget the Bengali, but he says, Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, the people from my Sankirtana, those foolish, sinful people, they will run away to Duradesh. Duradesh. Duradesh means, matlab? Faraway countries. What's the furthest away country from India? The furthest, geographically. The furthest. USA. No matter how you go west or east.
I guess Europe.
No, USA. On the opposite side, unless
Europe
of
is in the
course you
middle.
believe in flat Earth. But on the other side of the globe, it's USA, right? So he said, people will run away from my Sankirtana mission to the farthest regions of this world. But then my Senapati Bhakta will chase them. He will chase them, he will track them down, and he'll make them into devotees, like that. That's a good answer that you gave, prediction, but I'm looking for something else. I asked you, what is your confidence? What's the basis for your confidence that's Prabhupada that we're referring to here? Because even as recently as about 70 years ago, in India, even Prabhupada's own godbrothers didn't know how that prediction would come true. They were once having a namahata of sorts, like a satsanga, in Prabhupada's own house, and they were discussing. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu predicted that my holy name will spread all over the world. Sarvata Prachara, Vaimoranam. But how will it happen? And they say, maybe it's an allegory. Maybe it's a metaphorical expression that the holy name of Krishna will be spread in India. He didn't literally mean the whole world, because how can those Western people take to Krishna consciousness? It's impossible, right? How can you force a tiger to eat oranges? How can you force what's the saying in Hindi? Bandar can jana adrak ke swad? How can they taste the
Monkey taste.
the adrak, ginger? It's bitter. Did you ever try to feed monkeys ginger? I didn't try, but my friend tried. They were very hungry monkeys, very hungry and greedy. And he was throwing pieces of bananas at them. And then he would, just for fun, throw them a piece of ginger. Oh, that monkey was very upset. Like that. So these people are not made for bhakti. It's not for them to practice. It's for us, people of Bharat, pious people. So they were discussing like that, but Prabhupada was listening to their discussion, and he told them, you definitely won't spread the holy name of the world all over the world. You don't know the formula. I know the formula, but I won't tell you now. It has to go through, what's the word in medical science, clinical trials. That formula, when you come up with a medicine, it has to be tried on who? On white mice, white rats,
Yes.
white elephants. So Prabhupada said, you cannot spread. It's not true. You won't be able to do that. But sooner or later it will happen. So when it happened, I asked you the question, what was the confidence? What is the proof that it was Srila Prabhupada who spread this Krishna consciousness movement to the whole over the world? Huh?
Disciplic succession.
Disciplic succession? No, you know the proof. The proof is in the room. You look right at you, look to the right of you, and to the left of you. To the left and around. Did you see the proof? Do you have a mirror? Or you have the iPhone or whatever, you have your mobile phone, you can look on the screen. See the proof? You are the proof. You are the proof. What brings you here? You have so many different ideas about what your life would be, careers, different attachments and pursuits, passion and social pressure. But here you are, sitting here and listening to Krishna Katha from the mouth of a laboratory white rat animal who Prabhupada tested his formula on. And the formula is what? What's the formula? Trinadapi Sonichina Tarorapi Sahishtana Amanina Manadina Kirtaniya Sadaha. That's the formula. So this way Prabhupada showed by his own example, no matter who you are, and he himself was a bit surprised and incredulous. He said, I don't know how it happened. I don't know how it happened. I was not the most prominent disciple of my Guru Maharaj. He had so many more renounced, knowledgeable, prominent, pious people. Some of them were brahmacharis from life, maybe for many lives, who knows. Some of them were fluent in English much better than I. Somebody were proficient in Sanskrit much better than I. Somebody knew the Shastra much better than I could ever know them. Some of them were sent to England, to the West to preach, and they were completely funded. All their expenses were covered by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Everything. All they had to do was preach. But what did they do? Nothing. But somehow I managed to, when I was thinking where to go, Prabhupada was remembering, I was first tempted to go to London, because my godbrothers went to London first, and Guru Maharaj sent them to London. But then I thought, no, I should go to America. Because if I am destined to fail, let me fail in a new place. At least I'll do something new. I'll fail in a new place. Right? So he went to America and started preaching, and he said, my only distinct quality, the only quality that set me apart from my godbrothers, you know what? What was that? It's implicit faith in the instructions of my Guru Maharaj. I had no doubts that whatever, despite me, not because of me, but despite me, somehow the mercy of my Guru Maharaj will go through me, and will bring Krishna consciousness to all these people. Like that. So, answering my question, the proof is you and me. And there are some devotees from Russia here also. We have 4 devoted guests, 2 ladies, 2 men. One of the ladies is an ophthalmologist, she is an eye doctor. Another Prabhu is a physical therapist, physiotherapist, and another devotee is Shyama Gaura Prabhu. He's the one who actually was responsible for that Gift Prabhupada project across the world. Prabhupada's Murti. Not many Matajai, sorry, I don't know much about you. Like that, so doing amazing service. What brought them here, what brought them to Krishna consciousness, the same as what brought you here, Srila Prabhupada's mercy. So what Krishna does, Prabhupada continues, he says Krishna likes to depend on his devotees. He doesn't want to receive glory for his achievements. He doesn't want to receive glories of being glorified as Bhagavan. What he does want to do, he wants to invest his Shakti, his 6 opulences into his devotee. Like that. Like Srila Gopal Krishna Maharaj. He told Rasala Prabhu. What did he tell him? Rasala, Das Brahmachari, I want you to go to the West and preach there. Learn 2 languages and preach in the West, in Spain and French, in France, in Latin America. He empowered Vaikuntha Chandra Prabhu. Vaikuntha Chandra Prabhu, you to develop this wonderful temple, Rohini, ИСККОН Rohini, along with your godbrothers. And then these youngsters, they even look like youngsters. This for me are like youngsters. Yeah, I know Rasala Prabhu for the last almost 20 years.
20 years.
20 years, give or take. Maybe 15.
20.
Right, you were 20 when we met, right? Or thereabouts.
17.
17, you were. 17?
I was 17 that time.
Really?
16, 17.
And you? 22 plus. Youngsters. They were younger than most of you are. But they received this empowerment from their spiritual masters, and because they have faith in the instructions of Srila Gopal Krishna Maharaj, who in turn has faith in the instructions of Srila Prabhupada, who in turn has faith in the instructions of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, who in turn has faith in Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur and Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. That's Guru Parampara. And if you have faith, and this faith is manifested in your strict adherence to the principles of devotional service, then Krishna will cut out a place for you in his omniscience, his omnipresence, his omnipotency. He will cut a place for you in his eternal spiritual existence, and he will empower you to manifest the spiritual existence here. for other people to become as fortunate as you are. This is what's called preaching. Preaching is not about knocking people out with our philosophical arguments, sometimes like karate or jiu-jitsu. Our philosophy is so powerful. Right? You just read Prabhupada's books for 1-2 months, and then you can defeat any philosophy. Really? Did you have that experience? Did you? You can defeat any philosophy, because there is no philosophy in the world actually. There is philosophy. Philosophy, not philosophy. But Vaishnava philosophy is so powerful, it's so living, it's alive. And because it's alive, it's true. And then you have another weapon, which is the qualities of devotees. Qualities of devotees. No, you cannot find such qualities anywhere else. Devotees may be disorganized, forgetful, even late sometimes, by half hour, like today. Devotees could be absent-minded, devotees could be dressed in torn clothes. But devotees are saintly. Somehow when you get to see them, you cannot help but love them. Who had that experience? When you fell in love with devotees? I had. That's how I was convinced. I was a chemical student. In my second year of chemistry, I had my entire career lined up. I was a winner of the national, all-Russian, actual all-Soviet Union chemistry Olympiad. No, don't give applause. Save your applause for later. Like that. For 3 years I would just go in those competitions. I studied chemistry from when I was 7 years of age. And then without even exams, they accepted me into the state university for the chemical department. And then devotees spoiled my life in the second year of my studies. And here I am. I finished, I graduated, but I never worked as a chemist. Thanks God. Like that. So, because devotees were so saintly when they came and preached to me, I understood that whatever I had known in my life doesn't make any sense without such people in my life. So we have this philosophy, we have that qualities of devotees. The most potent weapon we have is what? Huh? Harinam? What's that? Prabhupada's books, Harinam? Prasad. Prasad. I can tell you this is what got me. Devotees' qualities came later. So the main devotees' quality that inspired me was that they wanted to feed me with prasad. They were so generous and just take as much as you want. And I ate a lot. Big plates. We had plates like this in diameter, about 60 centimeters, with that walls. And I would pile them up with halava mostly. And sabji and rice and dal, everything. I was on a seafood diet. I ate what I saw. Seafood. Seafood. I eat what I see. Seafood diet. So whatever I would see, I would eat. All prasadam. Doesn't really matter whether all be fresh and salty or sweet. I would just eat everything. Do you know piranhas, right? Piranhas? The fish. Piranhas in the piranha in the Amazon River, right? So I was like that for prasadam. And then devotees' qualities manifested to me gradually. So you have this secret weapon, prasadam. Prasadam should be cooked with love and devotion for Krishna and offered to him. Then it changes its taste so much that anyone could taste it and he can feel the difference, get spiritual benefit. But then the most important gift of Srila Prabhupada that we have to cherish and treasure the most precious, is written on that wall, on the door. What is that? If you want to ensure that your spiritual, your devotional life does not get destroyed, then stay in the association of devotees. That Vaishnava Sangha is the most precious thing. And these gifts are freely available, and preaching is not about, as I said, knocking people out with our philosophical arguments, even though we do need them. We do need philosophy. It's not even about teaching people how to follow the regulative principles. That will follow later on. But it's about sharing our fortune, our deep fortune that undeserved fortune that we received from Srila Prabhupada. We shouldn't think ourselves to be special. We're not special. You're not special, I'm not special. We're just a little bit more fortunate than the people outside. And to make and preserve your fortune, to make it deeper, the only way to do that is to share your fortune with others. That's the only way to make your fortune stay and expand. Ananda Buddhi Vardhanam, it's about expanding the fortune of Krishna consciousness with others. And the more you do that, the more you treasure it, the more you will appreciate it, and the more tasteful, ecstatic spiritual life will become. So this is what Kunti Devi speaks about. I should have connected it with the verse here. So I went off on a tangent. What I wanted to say is that the first tutti in the Bhagavatam is spoken by Kunti Devi, deliberately. Because Srila Vyasadeva, having written the Bhagavatam, compilation of Bhagavatam, the Paramahamsa Samhita, puts in the most prominent position in Bhagavatam a lady Kunti Devi, who is not a scholar. She even says, what's the word? Tatham Parahamsana Muninam Amalatmanam Bhakti Yoga Vidanarham Katham Pashyama Histriyaha. How can we, simple ladies, know about you if we remain hidden from the great Paramahamsas? Muninam Amalatmanam, those deeply thoughtful people who have completely pure hearts. My heart and the hearts of ladies, she says, we are always absorbed in our attachments to family. We have attachment to our maternal family, to our paternal family, to the husband, to the sons, so much that towards the end of the prayer of Kunti, she says, my dear Krishna, I'm confused. I don't know what to ask you for. I'm confused, because now you're going to go to Dwaraka from Hastinapur. And Dwaraka is the place of residence of my relatives on the father's side. And Hastinapur is the place of my sons. So I don't know what to ask you for. If I ask you to stay, then my sons will be happy, I'll be happy, but my relatives on the father's side will be sad because you won't come. If I ask you to please go to Dwaraka, then I'll be happy, but my sons and I will be sad. I don't know what to wish. Please sever, disconnect, cut off my attachments to my father's line and to my son's line. Sneha Pasha Mamam Chindi, Dridha, Pandushu Vrishnishu. Cut off these ropes of attachment. Please let me think about you. Let my mind go to you, just like the Ganges flows to the ocean. And Krishna, when he heard her prayers, what did he say? What did he say? What did Krishna say? What would you have said in Krishna's place to Kunti Devi? Let me make it simple. Did he say anything? No. What did he do?
He smiled.
He smiled. Smiled. The best answer to a difficult question. I mean, not an exam. If you smile in an exam, I don't think it will earn you too many points. Unless you're Krishna. But he just smiled because he didn't want to upset Kunti Devi. But what he did is very significant. He was just about to board his chariot to go to Hastinapur, to Dwaraka, excuse me. But then Yudhishthira Maharaj came running and said, please, Krishna, don't go. I don't want to rule the kingdom. I don't want to rule this kingdom which has been earned by murders of so many people. My hands are full of blood, stained with blood. All these ladies became widows because of me, and I'm not going to be the emperor. Whatever you do, whatever you tell me, I won't. That's how devotee sometimes takes Krishna hostage. That's what he does. It says in the Bhagavatam, Ragya Prema Nivaryata. Krishna became bound by the ropes of Krishna, of Yudhishthira Maharaj's love. And Krishna said, okay, I'm staying for Yudhishthira Maharaj, not for you, Kunti. You asked, please sever my attachments to Yudhishthira among the Pandavas. I don't think you should have asked for that, because I am attached to him. And I don't think it's a fault on me. It's my glory, it's my bhushana, not dushana. It's my glory. So Krishna is very much attached to his devotees. That's why he placed through Vyasadeva Kunti Devi as the first stuti, as the first speaker in the Bhagavatam, offering Krishna such substantial prayers, which have very deep discussion on Krishna's position, his philosophy, on rasa, on lila, on his relationship with the devotees, on his purpose of appearance in this world, and all these intricacies Kunti Devi has revealed. But the most important thing that Krishna used Kunti Devi to reveal to the world is his attachment to his devotees. So when Yudhishthira Maharaj asked Krishna to stay, he stayed for 3 or 4 months in Hastinapur. Only when Yudhishthira Maharaj let him go, Krishna went to Dwaraka, like that. So Kunti Devi in this verse, actually, it's a good verse for another big seminar on philosophy and theology. There are many philosophical and theological schools in the world that break their heads over trying to understand intellectually how God is involved with the world and separate from it. Is he within the world or outside the world? Is he personal or impersonal? Can he be seen by the senses or cannot be seen by the senses? Is he controlled by material nature or is in charge of material nature? And what do we do to understand him? And Kunti, in one verse, answers all these questions. Namaste Purusham Tvadhyam. You are the original person. Why? How is Krishna manifested as the original person? Because the spiritual world, his world, is manifested in this world as a replica of that world. Just like you, engineers, when you create some engineering creations, I don't know what you create, machines or vehicles or bridges or buildings, what you do, you are based on your conception of reality and you bring it into the form of these buildings and different things that you make. The same as Krishna, he takes the spiritual world and he uses it as a model after which this whole world is fashioned. Purushamadhyam, original person. Ishvara prakritiyak param. You are Ishvara, you control the material nature and you are beyond the material nature. Alaksham, you cannot be seen by any living entity. Alaksham, sarva bhutanam. Even though antar bahir hyavasthitam, you stay within and outside the living entities. The next verse she explains, Maya javanika chanam adidokshijamavyayam nalakshya semudidisha natta daroyitaha. You are just like an actor in a movie, in a theater. You come on stage unrecognized and then you go behind the scene and then you change your appearance, you put on a mask, put on a wig, come out again unnoticed and you speak in a different voice. And nobody can recognize you. But you can only be recognized and known as you are when you reveal yourself to your pure devotees. So like that. So we can learn from Kunti Devi her dependence on Krishna, surrender to Krishna and to his will. Later on she will say, please, most famous and most scary, frightening verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam when Kunti Devi says, Vipado Santu Naksasva Tatra Tatra Jagadguru, please continue sending us troubles, obstacles and difficulties over difficulties. Continue sending us these difficulties if this is the price to pay. But eventually what we learn from her prayers is that Krishna is deeply attached to his devotees. If you want to understand Krishna, you want to know him, you have to come to his devotee. There is no other way to know Krishna except through his devotee. He gives you Krishna, he also gives you the eyes to see Krishna. He gives you bhakti to Krishna and then he tells Krishna, Krishna, I know that his bhakti is insufficient. It's small, it's a modicum. Please, he doesn't have more than that. Please accept it. As it was a small boy who came to the ice cream booth. Very small. And he gave pocket change to the shop owner and he said, I want to have that ice cream. I know you don't eat ice cream, right? You smiled in response, just like Krishna. So he said, I want to have that ice cream, give me, and he gave pocket change. And the owner, the shopkeeper gave him that ice cream and the boy happily ran away. And the boy didn't know that the ice cream cost 10 times more what he gave. But why did he give? There are 3 reasons. Number 1, he really wanted to have that ice cream. Really. No, when the children want to have something really badly, you can tell it. He really wanted to have that ice cream. That's my favorite. Butterscotch. This. I know, because Gopi Pranandana Prabhu loved butterscotch ice cream more than anything else. Butterscotch. I said, I want that. So number 1 reason is really wanted to have that butterscotch ice cream. Number 2, he gave everything he had in his pocket. He didn't hide any money. He scooped it out, all the rupees, whatever, like paisa, he gave. And then number 3, he truly believed that was sufficient. And that's why a combination of these 3 factors inspired the shopkeeper to give him that ice cream, and he put his own money for the rest of the cost, the price. The same as Srila Prabhupada. If we really want to serve Krishna under him, want to please Srila Prabhupada, we give our best, whatever we have. And we believe it's sufficient. Srila Prabhupada will make up for the rest. 16 rounds, it's a school, it's kindergarten. 16 rounds, chanting 16 rounds, dear devotees, dear Prabhus and Matajis, it's a kindergarten of spiritual life. It's nothing. 16 rounds is nothing, it's for boys. You say, oh, 16 rounds is so difficult. It's not difficult. It's insufficient. It's insignificant. 64 is something already. Now you're talking 64. But Kirtaniya Sadhakari is the ideal. Of course, we have that ability to chant 16 rounds the whole day. Kirtaniya Sadhakari, for us, we chant 16 rounds the whole day. You ask a devotee, can you do this service? No, Prabhuji, I'm still chanting my rounds already. 9 o'clock at night. Somehow Kirtaniya Sadhakaris, 16 rounds the whole day. It's nothing. But because Prabhupada told us, follow the 4 regulative principles, chant at least 16 rounds attentively, and serve Krishna to the best of your ability, you will go back to the spiritual world in this lifetime. I promise you that. We can take that at face value. Just like that small boy. Because he will put the extra cost from his own pocket and tell Krishna, okay, please accept them. They're nice people, nice devotees. So this is what we can learn from Kunti's prayers and from other prayers. And now Vaikuntha Chandra Prabhu will explain to us the rest of the purport. Right? Already 7 o'clock. Any questions or comments? I have questions.
I have one question. So there are 6 opulences, and these opulences, since we are also part and parcel of Krishna, and in part of the quality, we are saying not in quantity. And if you will talk about these 6 opulences, so we have the desire of these 6 opulences. So should we completely stop this desire to get on with these 6 opulences?
The question is that, what's your name, Prabhuji? Amit. Amit Prabhu asked the question, if we are parts and parcels of Krishna, and Krishna is full on 6 opulences, does it mean that we also have desire for these 6 opulences? Right? And so, is it natural for us to desire such things? Is it your question? Is it where you're coming from?
Yes.
Or we should stop completely?
Adding to this question is we should.
Yeah. No, but yes, we do have legitimate right to desire such things, these 6 things, or manifest them. Every living entity manifests certain qualities of Krishna, up to 50 qualities of Krishna described in the Nectar of Devotion. But we also spoke about the 7th quality of Krishna today. What is the quality, if you remember, Amidji? Right, and that inspires him to do what with his 6 qualities? He uses them, right, for the service of his devotees, right? So that is the 7th quality. And we also inherit that quality from Krishna. So if Krishna uses his unlimited 6 qualities, driven by his 7th quality to serve his devotees, what do we do with our legitimate share of his 6 qualities? By our 7th quality? We use them?
Try to
serve Krishna reciprocally, then they all will become properly utilized and in place, like that. Is it clear? Actually, I can tell you even more about that. No, these qualities by themselves do not invoke love. If you see a person who is very powerful, it inspires fear or respect, but not love. If somebody is very strong, politically or physically, if somebody is very beautiful, handsome or beautiful, that doesn't inspire love by itself. It inspires lust or desire to somehow enjoy that beauty. If someone is very famous, what does inspire us to do? Take a selfie with that person. When I was mentioning recently the other day in India, in many shops I went to, every single shop has a picture of the shop owner with Sonia Gandhi or Atal Bihari Vajpayee or Sahab Singh Verma or Narendra Modi or somebody. Like somehow they were in a crowd and they managed to take a picture of themselves with that famous politician. Or Amitabh Bachchan. Of course, Amitabh Bachchan is in any shop anyhow. In all the advertisements, he advertises every single thing in India, I guess. I'm still wondering if it's effective, because if he advertises everything, how do people tell between the competing products that he advertises? But anyhow, people want to be associated with fame. Somehow they want to be famous, included in the fame of the person who is famous. Somebody is knowledgeable, so you respect that, and sometimes you ask them for help, or you copy from them an exam. And somebody who is renounced, what does inspire? Renunciation. What does renunciation inspire in us? Respect, maybe pity. Some people, oh, so sorry for him. He's so renounced because he cannot do anything else with his life except being renounced. Right, but when you see a person who is wealthy, powerful, beautiful, and knowledgeable and famous, but he uses these qualities to serve someone. There was a story about Mark Zuckerberg. He's known, a fairly known person, right? He's pretty wealthy and famous and influential, right? Because he steals your time, all of you. You work for him. All of you, without being paid by promoting his products. But once his father was sick, really terminally ill, was very seriously sick. And Mark Zuckerberg, who could have employed hundreds of nurses of the best qualification, he personally tended to his father. He sat by his father's side, he brought him medicine, he changed his bedding and things like that. And that's very inspiring. Now you develop some special feeling towards such a person who is wealthy and powerful and famous, but he does it personally. So the same way as Krishna. Actually, Zuckerberg is the same way. Krishna is the original Bolo. So he uses all his qualities to serve his devotees. Like that. So devotees should reciprocate. They should use all these qualities that they have by Krishna's mercy in Krishna's service. And this way, they become glorified themselves, and their opulences expand more and more. Whereas if they use these qualities for themselves, they lose them more and more because they're not properly utilized. They're like borrowed plumes. Alright, I think we should stop here. We have one more question. No question? Okay.
Guruji, as you have stated that Lord Krishna has stayed in Hastinapur after requesting Yudhishthira Maharaj, but not after even Kunti Maharani requested him first.
Right.
But he didn't stay.
No, he didn't stay, for sure.
And I have also heard that she prayed for troubles so that she can remember Krishna.
Right.
So why he didn't stay?
Why he didn't stay?
Yes.
Because he wanted to stay for Yudhishthira Maharaj.
Why?
Because he loved him more. Why? Because he is a better devotee than Kunti Devi.
By which quality?
By surrender.
By surrender.
Yeah. Yedhamam prapadyante tam stathami bhajamyaham mama vartnut vartante manushya partha sarvashaha. Of whoever surrenders to Krishna more, Krishna becomes reciprocally surrendered to such a devotee. and he becomes bound. Whereas Kunti Devi, she still had some idea about Krishna as being God. So there's a different quality of her surrender to him. And also she was elder, much elder than her sons. So there is a difference of age. So because of that, Kunti Devi couldn't bind Krishna as much as Yudhishthira could. But of the five Pandavas, who is the most dear servant of Krishna? Arjun. And the Krishna would come up with some plots. When Bhimasen was sent to defeat Jarasandha, Krishna arranged it in such a way that he came back without the victory that was expected of him. He couldn't defeat Jarasandha on the first go. Somehow he was defeated. Not defeated, but he was not successful to defeat Jarasandha. It is explained by the Acharyas, but Krishna arranged it in such a way. So on the next try, when Bhimasen went for the second time, Krishna could take it as an excuse to go with him and Arjuna. He said, okay, let's go together. Arjuna will go, you will go, and I will go. Bhimasen will fight Jarasandha. Is it like the timer that lecture is on? Turn it off. Hare Krishna. I think it is a timer.
Bluetooth mode.
No, it's here.
This is different.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Attach
Krishna,
this to
Krishna
this?
Krishna, Hare Hare. Anyway, that's going to be the last thing I will say. I promise. Not in my life, but and then the Acharyas explained that Krishna arranged it so that he could have an excuse to go somewhere with Arjuna. He said, okay, let's go together. Bhimasen, you'll fight Jarasandha again. I, Krishna, will go and I'll give you advice. And Arjuna will protect us. That's very strange if you think about it. Who will Arjuna protect them from? Bhimasen and Krishna. It was just a plot. Krishna just wanted to get away with his friend somewhere. While Bhimasena was busy fighting Jarasandha, Krishna and Arjuna could have some nice relationship with friendship. So Arjuna was the best devotee of the five Pandavas. And then when Krishna came to Hastinapur, then the Pandavas were greeting him. First Yudhishthira came as the elder. He wanted to bow down to Krishna, but Krishna bowed down to him first because he's a senior. Then Bhimasena came, and Krishna also greeted him respectfully because he was slightly less senior, but still senior. And then who comes next? No. Nakula Sahadev came, and Krishna embraced them, and they bowed down to Krishna's feet and touched him. And then last came Arjuna. Why was he last? Why? What's the difference? What's the reason? Because Arjuna didn't want to have anyone behind him. He wanted to have as much time as he wanted to embrace Krishna. So he didn't have to, okay, it's my turn, enough embracing Krishna, let me greet him. No, he wanted to be last here. He could as much time as he wanted to embrace Krishna. So he was embracing Krishna tightly in his hands. And then when he let Krishna go, immediately he felt separation from Krishna and embraced him again. That's the relationship between Krishna and Arjuna. So for the sake of such devotees, Krishna is prepared to do anything. And Arjuna blames him for that. In Brihad Bhagavatamritam, Arjuna tells Krishna, not Krishna, but about Krishna. Somebody tells me, Narada Muni tells me that I'm the best devotee of Krishna and Krishna is my friend. But how can Krishna be my friend? In the battle of Kurukshetra, Krishna protected me by putting his own body in front of the arrows. He was shielding me from the arrows of Kauravas. And these arrows were striking his body, drawing blood from it. And he did that to protect me. How could he do that? How could he be counted as a friend? Didn't he understand that by doing that he caused me more pain? What kind of a friend is he? Like that. So the paradoxical nature of their relationships, Krishna and Arjuna. Anyhow, it's a long topic, but I promised to stop. So here it is. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Gaura Premanandi.
So we'd like to thank His Grace Madana-mohan Prabhuji for explaining us the various aspects of the wonderful shloka which was spoken by Vikunti Maharani in her first prayers to Lord Krishna. So thanks Prabhuji by loudly chanting all the time. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And request Prabhuji to come again and again whenever he visit India. So
India or Delhi?
no, India.
India. Delhi.
Then he reroute his visit from Mayapur to Russia. Instead of Mayapur to Russia, Mayapur to Delhi and then Russia. Something like that. So thank you very much. Hare
If you promise that you'll be here. Otherwise, if you're not here, I won't come.
If they wish, they can travel with you also.
I am too hungry till 5 o'clock.
You're hungry, you didn't.
I have to do that. You are hungry till 5 o'clock. You have to take a anything till 5 o'clock.
I realized what it means to be hungry till 5 o'clock.
Ah, you realized it. Okay.
So,
Thank you very much, Hare Krishna. Thank you for being such a patient audience.
and we also like to welcome the secretary and the disciple of His Grace Madana-mohan Prabhuji, the Sham Gaur Prabhuji.
Secretary.
Big darling.
Secretary. Secretary.
Secretary.
He's a secretary. Okay. He's been appointed as secretary.
I don't know.
I didn't know I had a secretary until now.
Lastly,
Vladislav and Victoria, their husband and wife.
and Victoria Mataji, and then Anna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Like to well chant one time Hare Krishna also for both.
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare